What is up, mother pluckers? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm going to be talking about the realities of dating a musician. Dun, dun, dun. First off, a disclaimer. This video is based on my own personal experiences with my wife in our 10 years together. And I'm going to give you a little insight into the things we've learned and the expectation versus reality of dating a musician. Okay, so just before we get going, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you agree or disagree with anything I say in this video, let me know down in the comments below. Okay, let's get cracking. Number one is musicians make loads of noise. This sounds so silly to actually say, but our job is to make noise, especially if you're dating someone that plays a really loud instrument like the drums or the trumpet, which is technically the loudest acoustic instrument out there. But obviously when we're performing live, we make noise in front of people and it is amplified. But then the noise is at home as well. I am currently talking to you on a camera, making noise whilst my wife is downstairs, and she can probably hear me talking. When I record songs for my videos, I'm making noise. We make noise all the time, whether it's practicing, whether it's singing warm-ups, you know. People often forget that noise is with you pretty much 24/7. A dedicated professional musician will be playing or practicing or doing something musical every day. You know, they might have 1 or 2 days off a week, but that's well noisy. And some people forget that, you know, you're sitting at home trying to watch TV and upstairs you hear, you know, me practicing my beatbox. Oh God, you know, you hear all the mistakes, you hear all of the hard work that goes on behind the scenes, and it's just noisy. People forget this. Number two, musicians are away from home a lot. Whether you're a recording artist signed to a label, touring across the globe, or whether you're playing pubs, bars, parties, weddings in your local area, you spend a lot of time away from home. So the thing to think about is that if you're playing a wedding, for example, weddings are normally on weekends, which means that you're giving up your weekends in order to play at someone's wedding and earn money. That weekend is a weekend often spent away from your partner, and depending on the job that they have, that might be the only time you actually have together. Especially in high season and in the summer, I can be playing up to 6 weddings a week, and that is time driving, traveling, sometimes 1, 2, sometimes 8 hours to get to a show. You might be staying overnight. That has a big impact because it's literally just time away from someone. You know, when you're with someone, you like to be close to them, but it is time away. Number 3, everyone wants to talk to you about your partner who is the musician, right? We have this idea of, you know, the artist, the rock star, the pop star, the person on the stage being wicked and amazing. What's it like to be with that person? Well, they're just a normal person, really. We just have a relatively normal relationship, but I have to talk to you about them every single time. It can get really quite draining. You know, the fact that everyone is always more interested in your partner, especially the more famous you are. Can you imagine being the partner of someone like Ariana Grande or Madonna or Drake? You know, you're constantly being overshadowed by your partner. And that can be a tough thing to handle because sometimes you just want people to ask about you. Number 4, it gets boring very, very quickly. Okay, so you start dating a musician. Hey, do you want to come and watch me play a show? Amazing, fantastic, wicked. You'll go there, you're standing in the front row, and for the first time ever, you're seeing this person who you find physically attractive, who is, you know, connected with your soul, and you're thinking, yeah, I can really see myself with this person. Wow, I'm seeing them in their element, doing what they love. This person is so much more amazing and attractive and wonderful to me in this moment. And then the next day they're like, oh, do you want to come to another gig? Yeah, okay, cool. Right, it's amazing, it's good. Oh, he played this song last night. 3 years later, oh, I've seen you play this song 600 times. And that can get boring very quickly. Like any job, there's things that you do that just get boring. Constantly listening to someone practice 3 or 4 days a week, especially, and again, if you're playing cover songs in cover bands, Living on a Prayer, Sex on Fire, you hear it once, you hear it 100 times. It's going to get boring. Number 5 is they're physically tired a lot of the time. Musicians are similar to athletes. There is a lot of training, there's a lot of traveling, there is a lot of physical exertion. Sometimes I'm playing 3 to 4 hour sets with a break in between. That takes a toll on my body. Plus driving to the venue, plus lugging all of my equipment around, setting it up, eating a rubbish lasagna because the venue didn't want to give me the nice food at the wedding. All of that is going to be really physically draining. To then come home and then, do you want to go out tonight? Do you want to go dancing? Well, no, I've just played a 3-hour gig. I'm knackered. I haven't even had my dinner yet, and it's nearly 9 o'clock in the evening. Or even just doing the chores around the house, hoovering, anything like that can be really difficult. And it's not to say it's unfair to make them do those things. I do all my chores at home and all of those kinds of things, but it's physically draining, and that can be annoying because when you're maybe at home and your musician partner is gigging and then you've had a nice relaxing morning, you're ready, you want to go out, you want to enjoy the sunshine, but they're knackered and they got in at 3 a.m, so they're going to have to sleep for half the day. Again, it can be really difficult. Number 6 is money. So they might not have a lot. Depending on the level of their career, whether they're just starting out, whether they're established or not, how much they're charging, if they're playing covers bands, which usually pay a bit more money, or if they're making their own material. That can be a really challenging thing. They might not be making much money, especially, we just had a global pandemic, and the ability to go out and gig, the main source of money for a lot of musicians, is not there. And that can obviously have an impact on your quality of life, your ability to get a mortgage and buy a house, or even the fact that even if you have money, it's an expensive profession to be in if you're a professional, because it could be, again, transport, car, insurance, nice equipment, having a lovely microphone, an interface and a laptop could cost you thousands of pounds. And that can be really difficult to maintain, and everyone's got to pay the bills. So obviously the more money you need, the more you have to then be away, which can be really challenging. Number 7, it's a job as well as a passion. There's this thing that, you're a musician, life just must be so floaty and you get to do what you love and it's brilliant. And yes, we do get to do what we love and it is brilliant, but it's still a job. Everyone has things that they don't like about their job. Even the most passionate people that absolutely love their jobs, there's always a downside. I love performing for people, right? But the weekend is when I get to see my wife. And a lot of the time I'm performing or I'm recording or I'm away from her at the weekend in order to make money to help pay for our bills. There's things you just have to do. And a lot of people forget that. Doing your taxes, cleaning your instruments, long periods driving, learning songs that you really don't enjoy playing, liaising with people, admin, all of these things come into that job. And especially if your hours aren't a usual 9-to-5 job, that can be really challenging. I'm seeing a theme here. Are you? Number 8, their priorities. Because music is a passion as well as a job, this can really impact someone's priorities and where you sit as a partner in their list of priorities. If you've just met someone and they are a professional musician and they are making their living from music, and then you tell them that you don't like the way that their life is because it doesn't work for your relationship, so you tell them that they need to make changes, that can be really difficult to say to someone and also to hear. I remember in the early stages of my relationship, I was like, music is the first and most important thing in my life. And I just remember thinking about saying this to my now wife and how horrible that must feel. And And we can be in this box and really not thinking about other people's feelings. You know, that was a really rubbish thing for me to say. You know, we're married now. We've got a great relationship. We're always working towards finding that balance. But at the time, yeah, Simon, dick. Just editing the video here and wanted to add a quick side note. If you want to make a living as a professional musician, then you can't just have music as your one and only top priority. That's not really how life works, at least in my experience. And if you want to have a healthy and balanced relationship, you really need to be looking at all those other elements in your life, as well as your relationship, friends, family, all of those. Otherwise, you'll just be lonely. Number 9, the never-ending grind. The ongoing hustle. Always looking for that next gig and that next opportunity. If you've ever been in a band, you know that a lot of bands don't work out. And normally people go from one band to the next, or they go from one musical project to the next. I've been in rock bands, metal bands, rockabilly bands, and then I ended up in a country band that I thought was going to be the band that was going to take me to, you know, a record label and a comfortable living, touring the globe. That was not the case whatsoever. But from then on, I then committed all my time to my YouTube content and performing and my own solo stuff. And there's always something. And this is an ongoing thing. Unless a musician decides that they want to change industry, they're always going to be thinking about the next project, the next album, the next band they want to start, the next thing that will, again, help them make their living and do their job well. But yeah, it's always something, and that will always come into consideration. Oh, I'd love to go on holiday this summer. Okay, but I'm on tour for these 2 weeks, and actually I've blocked out these 2 weeks for songwriting because I need to write my next album if I'm going to release it by the beginning of next year. And that can, again, be really hard to have to deal with and balance. It's really tough. And number 10 is sacrifice. There's always going to have to be a sacrifice, either made by the musician or the partner of the musician. And depending on your personality type, that could be one person more than another, which can take its toll on you as a person and on a relationship. You want to spend a lovely Saturday evening together? Brilliant, but that means the musician could potentially sacrifice a gig on a Saturday and a couple of £100. Or the musician has said, right, I can't go out tonight because a last minute rehearsal's come in because we've got this really good show at this really amazing venue. Oh, but we had plans. Sorry, this is a great opportunity that I can't miss. I'm talking to you now on this camera, sacrificing time on a Saturday evening with my wife. I feel that we are in a place where we understand one another and we know when to make those sacrifices and which sacrifices are important. But there will always be an element of sacrifice. Well, that was a barrel of laughs, wasn't it just? This isn't to say don't date a musician. There are incredible benefits to dating a musician, and maybe I'll make a video about that some other time. If you want me to, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and I'll get right on that. But as with any relationship, be open, be honest, be willing to compromise. This video was made to try and give you some insight to what to expect, the reality of dating someone who is a professional musician, so that earns their living from music. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe so that you can get other videos like this every single week. All right, folks. Bye. Bye. Bye.